Watching this single video for Meet Kevin has put an extra $20,000 in my pocket. What was it and how does it work? All that and more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, volunteer paramedic, and unfortunately I caught the Rona. Check out my other channel, Fat Boy Fitness, where I go over all how it is to have Corona when you're a little overweight. Anyways, to today's video. I want to make it clear that Kevin is not sponsoring this video. He has not paid me, and these are my own opinions. He has absolutely no idea I'm making this video, and he has no say over this content. As my regular viewers will know, I have a team of outstanding lawyers that I keep chained up in my basement. Their only goal in life is to be solely dedicated to keeping me safe from other lawyers. And as you guys know, they get a little bit rowdy whenever I make videos. The only way to calm them down is to give this little disclaimer. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lender, nor anything else with any type of certification. I'm just some random dude on the internet. This is not legal or financial advice. You should most definitely seek advice from somebody certified, which ain't me. Blah, 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 blah. You know, you get the point. And like Kevin is so famous for saying, don't sue me, bro. I don't care how much experience or knowledge someone has. Only a foolish person believes that they know everything. Every day there is something new for you, for me, for all of us to learn. As Albert Einstein said, wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of a lifelong attempt to acquire it. This was never more evident to me than right now. I purchased one of Meet Kevin's courses so I could review it for this channel. Honestly, I figured it would be entertaining, and maybe I would pick up a tip or two. Little did I know that I would profit $20,000 in a single day just from one of his little secrets Kevin shared with me in his lesson. Also, stay to the end of the video for a bonus tip. Clyde, come on. You guys are not helping me at all. Do you need to go outside? Okay. Pause. Okay, while the dogs are outside doing their business, now is the perfect time for you to use the link in the description box for Webull and get your 3 free stocks valued up to $1,600 each when you deposit $100. Doing so really helps us support this channel, and I can buy more dog bones for Bonnie and Clyde. We appreciate it, thanks. First, let me give you a little bit of a background on mortgages and how lenders calculate various factors to determine your actual interest rate. Almost everyone has heard of the term points. You know, those are the fees that you sometimes pay a mortgage broker at closing when you get a loan. Each point is equal to 1% of the total loan amount. You usually pay points to get a better interest rate than what you would typically qualify based upon your credit history or income levels alone. Not always, but usually points are only charged to subprime borrowers or those that barely meet the financial requirements set by the lender. This is not always true, but it's a good enough summary for the moment for our conversation. Over the years of buying, fixing, and flipping foreclosures, I had a very basic level understanding of how points worked. It was fundamental, surface level only, and it worked for me. Some of the buyers of my properties paid points, some didn't. Whenever I purchased a property, I never got charged points myself, so I never gave this entire concept a second thought. What I was unaware of was points go in both directions. Not only can you pay points at closing to get a lower interest rate, but you can also go in the opposite direction and have the bank pay you points in exchange for taking a higher interest rate. I'm sure you are wondering,
why the heck would I want a higher interest rate? This guy's an idiot. Unlike unsubscribe.
Alright, calm down, Skippy. There are some very valid reasons why you may want to take a higher interest rate. Allow me to elaborate. Let's say, for example, you are purchasing a property for $350,000, and the bank quotes you an interest rate of 3%. This is often referred to as a 0-point rate. Or, said another way, this is the rate you will get if you pay no points at closing. If you watched my previous video on refinancing, I go into greater detail of how these points work, so after this video, why don't you go check out that video, the link is down in the description. In this example, hypothetically, if you wanted to get a slightly lower interest rate, let's say maybe 2.75%, the bank might charge you 1 point. So in this case, you would have to come up with $3,500 at closing to pay your 1 point. That's 1% of $350,000 is $3,500. You're still with me, right? All right, great. Well, what if we went the other direction? Maybe you are willing to accept a 4% interest rate, or perhaps a 4.5% or 5% or even higher. In that case, the bank would pay you 1, 2, 3, or more points at closing. These are called lender credits, and you can use these points to pay for renovations on your property, pay for some of your closing costs, or in some cases, you could take back some as cash. Now, there's some limitations on that, and I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. Continuing with our example, in my case, I accepted an interest rate of 5.35%, and the lender is crediting me $22,000 at closing. Some of this is going towards renovating, some of it is going back to me as cash, and the remainder is going to be applied to outstanding debt that I have on another mortgage. But like I said a minute ago, I'm accepting a much higher interest rate than what is currently available on the market. In fact, my payment is going up by $478 per month, from $1,476 at 3% to $1,954. Why would I do that? Well, in my case, I know that I will only be residing in this property for a very short term, then I will refinance. When I refinance, I will be removing the residency requirement from my loan. Upon this refinance, I will be able to legally rent the property as an investment property instead of it still being a primary residence. Going this route, I can purchase the property with zero down. I will pay a higher interest rate for 1 year, which will be $5,736 in additional interest. Of course, I get to write off that interest, but it's still an expense. And additionally, of course, there's going to be the cost of a second closing when I refinance the property. So if you add all these numbers up, I'm still pocketing an additional $10,000 by going this route. Now, I know some of the trolls will be yelling at their computer right now saying,
But that's not $20,000 like you said in your title, clickbait.
True, but even if I didn't use this financing strategy, I still would have to refinance to remove the residency requirement. So I would be paying the second closing cost no matter what. Of course, I cannot advise if this is appropriate for your situation. And of course, Kevin is not suggesting this for your situation either. It's just an interesting concept that may be worthwhile for you. But instead of me just blabbing about this, how about I share a little snippet of Kevin's video where he explains this in detail.
How did I get a free loan flipping real estate? Well, here's how I did it. When the market interest rates were 4%, I went in and I told the lender, what is the absolute highest possible interest rate I could get? And they said, well, we could get you this interest rate of 5.25%, but why do you want 5.25%? The interest rates are 4% right now. And I said, because I want the money. And I was going to have $10,000 in closing costs, property taxes, interest, prepaid insurance, you name it, loan fees, all these other costs. It's going to cost me $10,000 to close this $500,000 deal, which is not uncommon, about 2%. That's pretty much in line. And so I said, what does that 5.25% rate get me? And he said, well, it's going to get you about $10,000 back in credits. I go, perfect, great. That just covered all of my closing costs. Then I bought the property, I fixed up the property, and then I turned around and sold it 6 months later. So now all of a sudden, I had all of my closing costs, property taxes for 6 months paid, insurance for 6 months paid, the loan closing costs, the appraisal fees, the inspection costs, escrow fees, title fees, everything got paid because I took this higher interest rate of 5.25%. And the bank's like, well, if you're going to take that high interest rate, sure, we'll give you 10 grand. And I'm like, sucks for you guys. I'm only going to pay 5.25% for 6 months and then I'm selling this dog.
Now, one last bonus tip for staying to the end of the video. Depending on your lender, you may have an issue where you have too many lender credits. For example, if you are given $20,000 in lender credits, but you only have $10,000 in closing costs and escrow expenses for upgrades and renovations, some lenders may say that they're just going to write off that additional $10,000 and not give it to you. It really depends on the lender. Some lenders will be much nicer about this, and after closing, they will write a check, in this case for $10,000, and they will apply it to debt that you have in your name elsewhere. They cannot give it to you as cash because there are very strict lending laws that prevent them from giving you $10,000 as cash. Check with your lender and see what policies they have. If they say that you lose the money, why don't you research another lender and see if there's one that will work with you. Now, this was only one of the tips from Kevin's Real Estate Investing from $0 to Millionaire and Beyond course. I've still not completed my evaluation of his course because there's a lot of videos in there. Once I do complete it, I will give you a full detailed review. So far, I feel this one tip alone has more than paid for the entire course without question. Currently, the list price is $735, but you almost never pay that price because he is always running some sort of promo. If he allows me, I'll put a promo code down in the description. If he says no, well, then just go check out his channel. I'm sure you can find one somewhere. Now, did you already know about this financing tip? What are your thoughts? Comment down below and let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one, and hopefully by then I'll be Rona free.